Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Just give everybody just a minute or two just to connect, okay, before I actually start. Yeah, I think everybody's connected now. So, okay. This has been, I've recorded this webinar so I can review it back later. But so if anybody doesn't want to be recorded or have they switched the video off now if they don't want to. If not, feel free to flip your video on. You're all muted at the moment, so feel free to make any commentary in the comments. There's a should be a little button to put comments in, and we'll pick up on those. Any questions we'll answer at the end. So I'll get going. This is only going to be a relatively short webinar today. Thanks for joining for this short presentation. The subject today is how to process credit card payments more efficiently. I think most of you know me. My name is Simon Verona. I'm the Managing Director here at DMS Navigator, and I'll be doing the presentation this afternoon. Andy Bailey's joining me again. Andy is our Customer Success Manager, and I believe most of the people attending will know him.
Hello, everyone.
During the session, feel free to enter any questions and comments. Andy will pick up on them and make sure I answer them. So whizzing rapidly onwards. The agenda is pretty straightforward. I'm going to go through a short general introduction and then discuss the issues that are stopping us being more efficient and effective in credit card processing. We'll then talk about perhaps the solutions to those, how we implement those in Navigator, and more to the point, and finally, to make sure it's interactive, is give the opportunity to ask any questions on the subject, and I'll try and answer anything that comes up. So rapidly moving onwards. By way of introduction, credit cards are now pretty much one of the main payment choices for consumers. I think everybody has noticed the reduction of cash in a dealership over the last few years. Payments today would normally be made by card or Apple Pay, Google Pay, or online even. Statistically, in 2020, 30.7 billion consumer payments were made by credit card, which is a pretty stupendous number. And most adults now have either a credit or a debit card. So it becomes ever more important, ever more critical that as businesses, we handle credit card processing efficiently, effectively, be slick with customer handling, and also where we can minimize our cost of processing cards. Talking about the issue, I think we've all seen it. Anybody seen somebody wandering around the dealership with a credit card slip in their hand, trying to work out what this payment was for and who took it? It happens in most businesses. It happens more often than we'd want. And every time that's happening, it's costing us money. It's costing us admin time for somebody to go and work out what's going on. Secondly, the other problem is you've got an invoice, you've got a credit card payment, they don't match. There's been a number typed in wrong. This is a double loss normally to the business. It always seems to be that the credit card payment is less than the invoice value. And clearly there's a loss in admin time just trying to resolve that and sort it out. And in addition to all that, the normal day-to-day admin time just taken within departments at the day end in reconciling the credit card machine, then again in accounts the next day, just adds up. It's a dead cost to the business, just keeping the numbers churning along. The solution, what is the solution to that? In principle, it's a pretty straightforward. Fortunately, hopefully, we've done the hard work for you to make that easy. The key is to integrate the credit card processing with Navigator. The idea being is that whenever you raise an invoice for a credit card payment, or you're processing a credit card receipt in the system, it's linked to the credit card machine. That's really the key to doing that, by making the credit card machine literally part of the Navigator solution, so they are one and the same thing. The effects of doing that are cumulative. Firstly, one of the key things is the credit card processing is faster. You haven't got to touch the credit card machine. You haven't got to key the numbers in. You just generate your invoice in Navigator, just mark it as credit card payment. The credit card machine, I have one in my hands here, just jumps straight into life. The values on it, and it also has all the invoice details, and then just take the payment. The accuracy is high. The invoice value has to match the credit card value because the invoice generated it. They're inherently linked together. It's largely self-reconciling at the day end. When the payment is made on the credit card machine, the details from the merchant with the credit card machines obviously processing are transferred back to Navigator. So the day-in reporting in Navigator can show the actual merchant references on it. Therefore, when you download the reports from the credit card company, you look at Navigator, you can pretty much see they dovetail together. You can see all the same references, the same amounts. It should balance perfectly. By creating a process where the credit card machine is operated by Navigator, it inherently encourages the processing of payments within Navigator to be able to take the payment. And therefore, the problem of the unknown payment, people walking around with what was this payment, is pretty much totally eradicated. It just removes it. I guess the irony of everything is that it's pretty much free technology. This can be implemented very, very easily without any cost to the dealership, and therefore the benefits are there for nothing in many respects. Moving on, just talking a little bit more about our Navigator merchant solution. We use new style credit card terminals. I just waved one around beforehand. It's one of these. They are inherently wireless, both Wi-Fi and 4G connected. That means they're not tied to a particular desktop or particular place, or even into the building. You can walk around in the car park with one of these and it works just as well. They support chip and pin, contactless payments, Apple Pay, Google Pay, Samsung Pay, everything we're used to doing. The customer can use a credit card, their phone, a watch, or anything other wearable. If I watched somebody pay with their ring last week, I didn't know you could get rings that you could have payment in them. We have to do that. We partner with a third party called Payment Sense. Payment Sense are probably the largest independent merchant provider in the UK, independent of a bank, effectively. It's used in 70,000 businesses around the UK, and they process about £10 billion of transactions every year. The switching costs, i.e. the cost of moving across to the integrated service, are zero. The merchant contracts you're then on are 30-day rolling terms. Therefore, it needs to be competitive. It needs to be reliable. And we're confident that that is. And also, there's no worry about if you're mid-contract with an existing merchant provider. Doesn't matter. As part of this switchover process, we will buy out, or the Payment Sense will buy out your existing contract up to the value of £3,000. A key thing for me is that the rates are competitive, generally guaranteed to match or even beat your existing rates. So hopefully reducing the cost a bit more. So in summary, our aim is that as a merchant solution, the Navigator solution is probably better or as good as the existing merchant solutions that our customers are using. But it has obviously the major benefit that it's fully integrated with Navigator and with all the benefits that we've talked about there. The cost of processing will be cheaper, both to having good rates to start with, but also the less admin time, both at the point of sale and at the end of the day, and later on in processing the accounting relating to that. It should the cumulative benefit of doing that. And of course, no cost to change. So why not? However, I guess many people, and I'm looking at the list of people who are here today, I think there are a couple, may have parts of their business which are running outside of Navigator, that aren't part of using Navigator as part of their solution. The Navigator solution, our merchant solution, does work in those departments of businesses as a standalone unit. So pretty much would use a credit card machine today. If you don't have Navigator processing the transaction, you can still have a credit card machine which just works as it does today. So the aim is that you can still aim a single merchant supplier across the whole business, whether that's part of the car part of the business or outside in some other associated business in there. Hopefully I've given some food for thought, if I can even say that, in this short presentation. Just so you know, moving forward, our webinars are all going to be this sort of length, nice, short, sharp bites rather than lengthy webinars on extensive topics. If you've got any more to find anything more about our solution, about the Navigator merchant solution, then Andy's the man to talk to. You can email him, andy@dmsnavigator.co.uk. I'm sure you've got that, and you've got his phone number as well, no doubt. So feel free to give him a call or drop him an email if he wants more information on anything that I've spoken about today, or indeed anything else, to be fair. So really just opening up for some questions. Thanks for attending so far. Anybody got any questions? Just type them in the box and I'll try and answer.
Okay. So Andrew says, hi Simon, can the system cope with taking deposits by credit card where, for example, the vehicle is not in stock yet? Also taking sales ledger payments, etc.
Yes, I mean, you've got to be able to take it to be able to create a sales order on the system, and as you take the sales order, you can take the deposit at that stage. Sales ledger payments today, no. Hopefully in the new year we'll have that in there. We missed that on our original integration, but yes, you will be able to take sales ledger payments in exactly the same way.
Any more for any more? So how easy is the switch over? There's a worry that there might be a period without a credit card machine.
Yeah, okay, the switchover process is really straightforward. So basically, the first part of the process is signing up for the new merchant account. Obviously, it is a bank account, so it goes through the same process of opening a new bank account, taking references, etc., etc. That all happens actually relatively quickly. To do that, you'll get your new machines. So the machines will be sent out to you. They're already fully commissioned. So all you've literally got to do is plug them in and get working. And as default, they will work in standalone mode. So you can try them out, make sure they work, make sure that they're actually operating, connect to the Wi-Fi, etc., etc. The old machines that you've got for your old merchant provider will still be there. So you then arrange a smooth transfer. We will integrate that in with Navigator as part of that transfer, so it's then linked in. And then the old merchant account is closed down and paid off, and then you're just using the new machine. So the aim is you can just make that very, very smooth transition between the two.
Okay, next one. What is the process for signing up? I'll take this one. So basically, you'll come through me. Obviously, once you've got the information that you need to make that decision, and I'll refer you on to Payment Sense. At that point, you're still under no obligation to actually go ahead with it. They will want to see a recent statement from your current merchant provider so they can put a deal together for you. And at that point, obviously, if you decide that you're happy with that and all the involved stages, then they will open the account with you. I'll be liaising with Payment Sense whilst that's going on for them to send your terminals out and get your account open. Now, what a couple of people have asked, which I might as well continue, what happens when you get your machines? So we need to time it quite carefully in order to integrate the machines with the Navigator. So what we tend to do is to arrange a predetermined time and day that we can switch the new machines on and effectively connect them to Navigator behind the scenes. So what will happen is you'll continue using your existing machines in the normal way up until that pre-arranged time, and then we'll give you a call to let you know that it's done and set up for you, and then you literally just swap over to the new process. No, we've done that one. Does this just cover physical payments? What about payments made online? That's a great question.
Yeah, great. I mean, online payments are part of the process. It's obviously different to taking payments through cards physically. However, whenever we set up a physical merchant account, predominantly we'll always set up a online account at the same time. So what that means, they're normally kind of linked rates. The online rate is not generally slightly higher, fractionally higher than taking it physically. The banks deem that to be more of a risk. What that then gives you the ability then is to do things like take a workshop invoice, get to the point of raising the invoice. You can click it to email that invoice to the customer. The email will go to the customer. It will still say, please find and cancel your service invoice. If you want to save time when you come to collect the car, you can click this button and pay online now. It does that. It will then take that payment, he take his credit card details, take the payment. That will post that payment to the workshop job in the system. It's in the banking's in exactly the same way as it's been taken physically. And the merchant account works in much the same way. So the end result to you as a business looks exactly the same, whether they pay online or pay physically. And it just, everything just flows through in exactly the same way. That works in vehicles as well. So you can take a sales order, email the sales order. That works with our digital signature platform as well. So they can sign the sales order digitally if you want to do that, which then takes them on to a web page, which will then ask them for the credit card details to take their deposit, which you take on as part of the process, which goes back to the question that Andrew had, I guess, about taking deposits on vehicles. As soon as I do that, that gets posted to the vehicle, to the dealer as a deposit as well. So it kind of all kind of ties up in that regards. So yeah, so online, there'll be. I'm sure that one of our webinars in the future would be specifically on the online world and taking payments online, but it does apply to this as well.
Good stuff. Thank you. Any more questions, guys? No. Well, if you do think of anything once we're finished, feel free to drop me an email. If I don't know the answer, I'll go away and find out for you. I guess if there's nothing else, all that's left is to say thank you very much for coming on. Yeah, thanks for coming on. Really good to see everybody here. I'm really interested to hear whether you feel that these kind of webinars are quite valuable for getting information across. Getting information out to people is quite important so they can see what can be done and then see whether that applies to them. Often it doesn't, sometimes it does, but if you don't know how to make that decision. So I hope that's quite useful and this format works really well. Thanks everybody. Let's hope you see you the next one. Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone.